Hi, this is Graphically Alex coming at you with all things fat related. If that's something that interests you, please subscribe. I'd love to have you. And today we're going to be reacting to Tess Holiday. I haven't reacted to her in forever. I haven't since literally when the Leo Skeppy thing went down, which that was forever ago. That was like 2024. So we're going to go ahead and react to this. I think I'll just let the whole thing play and then we'll just break it down piece by piece. It might be long, but whatever. Let's go for it.
I don't think that some of y'all would last 24 hours being fat, and this is things that I've been thinking about that would send a skinny person into a coma. Starting off strong, being called brave for literally just putting on shorts and something that's revealing has always baffled me, because what do you mean? Brave? For wearing clothes? Okay. When you see a really cute outfit or top and you go to look for it in plus size and you realize, oh wait, they just made an ugly version in plus size. That's super cool. And it usually has a cold shoulder or a butterfly or some kind of print that nobody ever asked for or wants. Being in conversation with people and they say, oh, it's okay that you're fat. I just don't want to be fat. Or I've had people tell me, oh, well, you're fat, but at least you're proportionate. One of my personal dimensions of hell is going to a theater or a restaurant and constantly scanning the area to see if you're going to be able to fit comfortably wherever you sit. Being stared at the gym. You guys bullied me. I'm here. Let me live. Riding on an airplane, I have had a lot of not nice interactions, but now I fly first or business and they don't have to worry about it. I don't think that some of y'all would last 24 hours being fat, and this is things that I've been thinking about that would send.
So I don't know. I think she's trying to sell stuff, basically. So I use The Last of Us Zombies to describe the state of somebody with an E followed by the letter D. And for the sake of YouTube, I call that the toxic ritualistic. She is a bloater. Okay, she is level 4 zombie. She is very severe. And what that means is her entire life is based around this. And there's also a cynicism and a coldness to it, although there's still a reactivity that is similar to the clicker stage, which is stage 3. It's a stage before where you can be very angry and reactive all the time and very unhinged. This is when there's a bloater has the qualities of a level 2 zombie, which is somebody who's like a stalker. So they have strategy and they think things through, but also the lashing out of a clicker at the same time. So she's doing this to try to make money. So there's a very cold underlying message behind this post. She's also just promoting generalized E followed by the letter D talking points that have been stated ad nauseum forever. There's basically zero creativity in this whole reel. It's stuff that's been said 50 bajillion times by 50 bajillion different people. I do think that she is still a bloater, though, obviously, as she worked to normalize obesity. She was one of the first people to really get out there and really promote this on a level that we had never seen, with her F Your Beauty Standards mantra and all that stuff. And she's deep in fat activism and all that kind of stuff. So she's definitely a bloater. The issue that I have with bloaters is they typically will never get better. So they'll act like they will, but they won't. They never do, in my opinion. I would love it if she did, but she probably won't. So these people will unalive for the cause. Okay, so she's very severe. So I will go ahead and read, or we will react piece by piece to her different talking points. So let's start with the first thing. Things that would send a skinny person into a coma. That is already very framing people as us versus them. It's somebody who is she's trying to differentiate different sized people as if we're a different species or something, which that is DIS ordered in and of itself. Everybody can upsize, everybody can downsize. So there isn't much there. She's encouraging identification with body size, which is TR. It's toxic ritualistic. Okay? So it's subtle, but it's effective. It works. It gets you hooked. It gets you thinking, okay, you might not even have an E fall by letter D, and you're already thinking, yes, I should identify with my size. No, you shouldn't.
And a skinny person into a coma. Starting off strong, being called brave for literally just putting on shorts and something that's revealing has always baffled me, because what do you mean? Brave? For wearing clothes? Okay. When you see...
So the whole brave thing, that's one of those fat acceptance tropes that's said all the time. I do wonder how often it's actually said in practice and in real life. I think it could be said passive aggressively even when it is said, which there have been a lot of fat activists that say that, but it's kind of like the "you're not fat, you're beautiful" thing. I just don't know. It's, especially at this point, it's probably very dated. It's at least 10 years old. You know, the "you're not fat, you're beautiful," that's getting to like 20 years old. That's old. That's very old, in my opinion. Like, just, they act like it's said to them every single day, and I don't think it is. So I think that that's an issue I have with it, is she's framing a lot of these things as if it's something that you hear every single day, and you don't. It's just something you replay in your mind all the time. But she's trying to push the idea that everybody is as obsessed with size as she is, which isn't true.
A really cute outfit or a top, and you go to look for it in plus size, and you realize, oh wait, they just made an ugly version in plus size. That's super cool. And it usually has a cold shoulder or a butterfly or some kind of print that nobody ever asked for or wants.
So this is very common. This is bloater entitlement. This is where you have this like idea that the world should orient around a bloater. Everything should be adjusted to their very abnormal body. I don't know what else to say. That can happen on the reductive side too. But it's this idea that the world should cater to your extreme levels of DIS order, basically. So even at lower levels, like a clicker, for example, Anna O'Brien, she's a clicker. She was very upset about Target. You remember Target Gate? She was very upset about the options that were at Target. It's an easy thing to complain about, but it goes back to this same idea of control that is at the roots of the DIS order. And it's kind of like, it's going into different aspects of a person's brain, basically. So this happens a lot too within like choosing partners or within like sexual availability, where it's this idea that if I want something, it should be available no matter what. And it's also the same case of food. So typically within BINGE, that side of this, it comes from, if I want a certain type of food, I should have it. It should just be like this, like on demand. But it can switch to clothes, and it can also switch to SEX and what's available. So whatever is not exactly what you want in that moment at that instant is something that you really bloviate about and you really cannot stand. Basically, you get upset about it. And you're typically upset about what's available. And people within BINGE, they are often framing their lives around victimhood and creating victimhood where it doesn't exist. So they have to, you do that in order to engage in the coping mechanism more. So even if you like something that's available, you have a psychological drive to say you don't. So that happens too. So the point is, to say it plainly, it starts out with food and it shifts to other things, particularly clothes is a super common one, just especially because it has to do with the body as well as partner choices, which has to do with mutual attraction, which also has to do with the body. So it's zombie logic, it's zombie brain. It typically happens when it's a little bit more severe, but even at mild cases of binge, it could start. It's just usually not so much. But she's just like fully confident in the entitlement, and she just doesn't even, there's no even like emotion behind it. I think
Being in conversation with people.
it's just like a rallying cry, basically. Bloaters lead. They lead the rest of the zombie horde.
And they say, oh, it's okay that you're fat. I just don't want to be fat. Or
So I don't know what that would bring somebody into a coma over. Most people wouldn't give a fuck at all. So I think that that's important to understand, which I don't think she can. If you're not DIS ordered, you're not going to have any thoughts about that, about somebody saying, oh, that's fine for you. I don't want to be that way. You just wouldn't even think about it because it's not offensive and it's not a big deal. When you are DIS ordered, when you're in the toxic ritualistic, especially at a severe level, so you're like stage 3 zombie, stage 4, you identify so heavily with your size that if somebody doesn't want to be your size, it is a personal insult. But it's a psychological issue. I'll put it to you that way.
or I've had people tell me, oh, well, you're fat, but like at least you're proportionate.
So that I think people are just trying to be complimentary, which I don't understand why this would be on the list. Like if somebody said that to somebody who's thin, I don't think anybody would care. I really don't.
One of my personal dimensions of hell is going to a theater or a restaurant and constantly scanning the area to see if you're going to be able to fit comfortably wherever you sit.
So that's just a part of supermorbid obesity. That's a physical result of that. And that does suck, but it is the consequences of your actions. To be super morbidly obese, it takes a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of, consumption. It takes a lot to maintain it. It's not something passive. And I'm not going to entertain that or even act like it's not an active choice she's making every single day. It is very hard. I have been super morbidly obese before. I know how much it takes. It's a lot. It takes a lot, and it takes dedication on so many different levels to be as big as she is. It just does. So it's a choice you're making every single day, Tess, and it's not anyone else's problem. I'm just going to say that. It sounds harsh, but it's just the realities of life.
Being stared at the gym. You guys bullied me. I'm here. Let me live.
So as far as stares and stuff, bloaters will get stared at because they're usually very extreme. So that's whether they're on the reductive, so if they're like a Eugenia, or they're a binge bloater, they're still going to be stared at because you look so abnormal. You're so beyond what is considered like even relatable in those cases. So it's a lot that can happen at a clicker level too, depending on how severe or how not weight normalized you are. You will get stares. If it gets really extreme, that will happen. And I understand a lot of people in the EFOB by letter D recovery space, they try to pressure society to not stare or not judge or not look or not this or not that. It's kind of inevitably going to happen. And I don't understand why we're talking so much about society, and we should be talking to people that are actively engaging in these behaviors. We should be holding them accountable. We should not be infantilizing them or blaming society for what they're doing. Nobody supports that. Not really, like hardly anybody, unless if they're also in the issue. So it's like, let's put our efforts as recovery people, put your effort towards the person that's actually causing a problem. Like Tess, for example, she's causing a problem.
Riding on an airplane, I have had a lot of not nice interactions, but now I fly first or business and they don't have to worry about it.
So she had to get her flex in there, um, which is not great. So I do just want to clarify as far as the societal aspect, I'm not big on like actively fat shaming. But when you're talking about online discourse, if somebody is a fat activist, if they are doing that, then I understand it in that context. I absolutely do, because they're advocating to be that big. They're advocating for obesity directly. So I think it's kind of up for grabs. Out in public, I don't think you should really like yell at somebody who's big or really under. But I mean, people, when they stare, it's often a visceral reaction, you know? It's like, I, I can understand it a little bit, you know? I think if you don't say anything, you should never like touch somebody or harass somebody or anything like that. But people will look. If you're in a public space, people can look at you, you know? Um, it might not be fun, but it's going to happen, you know? It is what it is. I try to keep things as realistic as I can on this channel, especially within the context of EFOD by letter D recovery. Like, the world is not going to change for your problem. You have to get rid of your problem and change for the world. It doesn't work that way. So I'm never going to sit here and reinforce you or tell you that you're right, you're justified for doing it, any of that. Absolutely not. You're not right. The whole thing is wrong. Throw it all out. It's all complete trash. You're not at all justified. It is horrible for you. It is a horrible thing to do. Nobody wants you to do it. You know you shouldn't. It's horrible. It's not even pleasurable or anything. And even if you try to say it is, you're gaslighting yourself. It's not. So I don't play any of those games. It is just self, HARM, and I don't glorify it and I don't accept it. And I don't think you should either. But anyways, you guys, that was a quick one. I didn't think it would be this quick, but I need to film a little bit more because I'm going to be going on a trip soon, so I have to stockpile some vids. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please give it a like and subscribe, etc. I will talk to you guys later. Have a good one. Bye.